We're at the 9 o'clock hour in Dynamite. Did you realize that?
I didn't, no.
Samoa Joe for the in-ring promo. And since, of course, he is the heel world champion who breaks people's bones and stomps on them and commits all kinds of acts of mayhem, the people love him. They're chanting, Joe, Joe, Joe. And he's pissed off because, of course, the reason why all of us are pissed off, because last week when Swerve Strickland and Hangnail Page went to a time limit draw in their match to determine the contender to Samoa Joe's title, as Joe said, they made my match bigger and dumber because now it's a three-way. And nobody wanted to see this because nobody wants to see Page. But anyway, those are the conditions we're working under because Tony Khan is mentally damaged. So Joe says, I'm going to hurt both of them then, and there's nothing that they can do about it. And then that, of course, means that Swerve Strickland's music plays. And here he comes, and there were massive Swerve's House chants. The terrorizer of babies, the reaper of souls, massive baby face. And Swerve gets in, and Brian, did you catch I've heard this happen at a comedy club, but I've never heard it at a wrestling show in an actual real arena, maybe TV studio wrestling, but I've never heard one random fan in an arena that seats 9,000 people, that it would be quiet enough and that person would have the timing and be loud enough that he could pop the whole fucking room in the middle of an in-ring interview. But that's what happened. Swerve says, Joe, when you became champ, you said, and he kind of turns and he starts walking the other way. And I guess he's going to, for effect, he paused. He's going to say, and he says, you said, and a fan from somewhere just said, what'd he say? And all the crowd started laughing and it stopped fucking Swerve. And he had to turn and ignite. It's like, what? And are they in a library that one crowd or one guy in the crowd can pop the crowd with no microphone from the stands? What the? So anyway, Swerve cut a hell of a babyface promo, putting himself over and got, the people who would listen to this promo would be with him and want to support him to win the title. Which, if they're going to make him a babyface, that's fine, but why does he have a heel manager who actually, Nana has no heat when he's with Swerve? They love the dance, but then Nana's supposed to have heat when he comes out with those fucking job guy schlub heels that they put him with. I don't know what the fuck. And then here comes Page to interrupt the thing, and the fans start booing the shit out of him. And of course, now it's obvious that they want him to because they were doing it anyway. So I guess it's obvious they want him to, Brian, right? Because Page is acting more and more obnoxious and more entitled and more douchebaggy, or is that just he's shooting again?
Page is the heel. I've been saying it all along. The Elite are heels.
But does Page know he's the heel yet?
Oh, I think they're playing into it, yes.
Okay, all right. I want to make sure.
I think the mustache being grown was because he turned heel. It's as simple as that.
What did he mean by, because he's mad at the internet?
He'll be a good guy when he uses Harry's.
Well, actually, he'll have to pay for Harry's to be a good guy. But what did he mean by his first words were on the microphone when he's getting the ring? Page, when you write your weekly Dynamite report, don't say I was mad last week. Did somebody report that he was mad last week over some part of his segment or something that happened? And now he's got to answer. He feels he needs to answer them on Tony's national television show.
He's so boring. I don't even know. Actually, I haven't heard a thing. He didn't answer CM Punk when CM Punk called him out on the national television show, but I guess he's mad at someone who reported. He
didn't say goddamn much from what I understand in the fucking hallway in the back when CM Punk confronted him, and it wasn't a goddamn national television show, but we won't go into that. But he said, when you write your weekly Dynamite report, whatever that fucking means to whoever he was mad at on the internet, don't say I was mad, but last week was horseshit, and they bleeped horseshit. Because they've been trying to bleep the language on his program, and it's backed up in terms of the fucks and things, but you can obviously tell still that the network doesn't really want it because they try to get it out of there. And as Page's thing is, Swerve had 30 minutes and he couldn't beat me, so I should have the match. Well, you didn't beat him either, dipshit. Of course, that's the heel part. And Page tells Swerve that he doesn't deserve 1 second of my time. And even if he knows he's a heel now and he's trying to be a heel, he can't talk. He's trying to sound like a badass. He's trying to sound like he's verbose and eloquent and knows big words. He's trying to sound like he's got a personality. He's a boring, empty-headed dipshit that's never done anything in the business, and he cuts a wonderful fucking flip over the top rope. And now he's in this match, and then Joe jumped in at the end and just saved the thing. Between Swerve being thrown off by a random drunk in the crowd and Page coming in and bringing this thing down into the porcelain throne, Joe jumped in, sounded like a badass, like he meant it, said he's going to beat both of their asses, dropped the microphone and left. And they played music. Good way to get fuck out of there with Joe. Do you want to see this match? If Page's plane is late or his car breaks down, I want to see Swerve versus Joe. I'm probably going to fast forward through the goddamn three-way and just see what happens in the finish because Page will clutter it up.
If Joe wins, he retains the title to drop it at a later date. If Swerve wins, you get a big moment, but not as big because it's a three-way, not just him beating a world champion. If Adam Page wins, and he's a heel, and the Elite beat, and the Bucks beat Sting and Darby and win the tag titles, I could see AEW thinking that would be a big thing to get heat on all these guys.
Tony's crazy, but he ain't gonna put that belt on Page again. He's proven himself to be nothing but a failure and a loser. Anyway, speaking of failing and losing, apparently the friendship between Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo has failed, and Toni has lost her matching tattoo. They did a segment in black and white on Toni having her tattoo covered up. It looked like a goddamn prison tattoo anyway, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't, I guess it had significance or some meaning to
what it had was they probably got drunk in Japan one night and had somebody do it in a goddamn Japanese version of a Walmart.
Maybe so.
So then that's when they did the whole Buckaroos and Darby Allin deal, and we covered that on the last show because that was so newsworthy for its preposterosity that Darby came out and, as Uncle Dave said, tried to make Jim Cornette the babyface using all that Cornette vernacular when he told the Buckaroos the truth that they hired their friends and they're a bunch of jerks on their own television. But we covered that. If you want to, you can look for it on YouTube or
the Drive-Thru.
Or the Drive-Thru. The Drive-Thru or YouTube. Either one. Or actually listen to both. See if there's any difference.
That's right. Both.